Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another exciting match of the Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys tournament. Tonight we have Andy and zelgadissan racing, two very skilled runners, so this should be quite an exciting race. Both of them are 6-1, pretty high stakes in this tournament race. And to talk about it further, we've got Excalibur and Schultzer tonight. So I will toss it over to them.
Good evening, Schultzer. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm all right. I got called in last minute, so I had to set up a new setup to come do this. But totally worth it because these guys are both excellent runners, and in some ways, so they're not only are they both 6-1, they're both 6-1 to a loss against a quite respectable opponent. So Zelga's only loss is to Goomba, who's still undefeated, and is your matchup this week. And Andy lost to Scoople, who's apparently an NMG runner primarily. Which I don't know anything about Scoople other than they also have followed up beating Andy by beating a bunch of other people that are also 6-1. So
yeah, this would be a very exciting match. I do expect both of them actually making the top 16 bracket phase, but a win today will secure them place. Otherwise, they have to join the play-in race the next Saturday, so next week, where we will determine who actually goes at the bracket stage and who is 6-2.
Yeah, there's that bracket race is you'd rather not be involved in that. I think that a number of people will be confident that they can get through, but you'd rather not. Just being able to take the clean cut, whatever it is, top 6 brackets seed for finishing X and 1 or better is definitely worth it.
Just not having the stress. Just knowing you're safe in the next phase and don't have to worry about winning another seed or not losing.
Yeah.
This will be a very interesting one. I don't know who is gonna take the win here.
Yeah. Andy, plays more rando than anybody probably, and so tends to have an execution advantage in most of his races. The question is just, is he going to do? Is something bad going to happen either in terms of routing or in terms of?
I expect him to have. I saw them play, and I think they have a similar routing experience. Okay. So I don't expect so much variance, especially in the beginning stage. Because both was going for Hunian.
So Andy used to be, I don't know if famous is the right word, but he used to be basically the only runner in Crosskeys would open up, always go to the castle. I think that Andy for a long time, so the opinion you should go to the castle first in every single kind of rando.
Yeah, and it's good that he changed it, because going for the castle first is very risky.
Yes. Now he does it after he does the hula hand, which seems entirely reasonable. But yeah, he got to the finals last year, opening to the castle. So it's not all downside.
Yeah. Sega already checking his stamp prices. Both of them finding the top of Super Bunny Cave, which gives them 2 items and a magic refill, which is pretty nice to see early on, especially if you find a magic weapon like Fire Dot to Mario. I don't know.
I mean, it's just nice to know that you have it. I mean, frankly, the magic is useful early if you find the Cane of Berna or the Cape, right? Early enough in the seed, you're willing to use anything. All right. Having gone and gotten their stuff, let's see if we can pick Flipper. zelgadissan killing the enemy on the way out. They're doing that to set up tree poles.
Yeah, I don't personally like checking all the top-down stuff, because only one enemy drops really helps you, and that is the bomb top-down, and to get that from actually bomb top enemies is pretty rare. But let's see, early, well, we will maybe skip an item here.
So the enemy kill there is actually partly to set up the tree pull at the castle that they're going to do next.
And both of them don't getting punished for doing that only, getting enough money to not do Hunian. Like, 400 rupees is more than enough. So Sega just 7 quits out.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that Andy isn't doing that as well.
Yeah, most of the time you're doing an early Hunian to get above like 150 rupees, from my perspective, to either have the opportunity to buy bombs and to pay the bottle merchant if you're going to Kakariko early, and then you don't really need money for a long time in the seed, and you have enough chances to actually get some more, like getting 50 more in Sanctuary.
Yeah,
That
there's
was a dungeon.
certainly it's the case that by the end of a Crosskeys seed you have way too much money. The question is just do you have enough in the early game? Yeah, Desert Pass main or Desert Pass north at the castle is a fine place for it. On the other hand, the Sanctuary at the castle sucks. Right, that's a basically useless save and quit point. You're never going to respawn there ever again.
It's not entirely useful if you wanna go to like North Darkport to Sanctuary. I think it's a little bit faster to actually go there from Sanctuary than Younger Uncle drop down than Link's house, but that's the only case where you can really use it. So I don't expect them to ever start at Sanctuary again.
Yeah. Andy getting the bad news, and you can see it on his face that he's not excited. On the other hand, we do have to mention that the back of his cape held a glove, and that'll solve a lot of their routing problems early. There's a bunch of one-off glove locations you'd rather not leave behind. Does that change the priority order enough for you that you're going to go to the glove areas earlier, or are you still going to, I mean, after Kakariko?
You have more options, but the options are still pretty much the same. Kakariko has so much stuff that you want to do that early, and going south in the beginning can really hurt you because only 2 bombs is risky. If you want to kill enemies in dungeons and you don't have enough bombs, it's very dumb. But I expected them just to go to the south area quicker than normal with that early glove.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can push going south ahead of going to Eastern Palace area, because if you can get away with doubling up Eastern and Pod, that's a sort of better time saving than some of the other places that you can potentially mirror it.
Yeah, now we can like almost see the difference between ZelgaDissan and Andy. Andy going for the same route every time and lost probably about like a minute doing that. Zelda 7 quit in the battle to get to Hyrule Castle early and got a good time advantage off that alone.
Yeah, and Andy checking these nearby entrances before walking all the way to Kak the south way.
Yeah, I think he's gonna check the entire eastern area as well. I think he usually does that. And I cannot complain about that one. Early eastern is always a fine play.
Yeah,
but he might also follow the connector.
I mean, one of the virtues of checking these close entrances early is to find the most useful connectors, right?
Yeah, that's the reason I like following connectors, because they might have such a big usage that you just want to know where to go, just to make routing more efficient.
Speaking of which, that's one of the best connectors on Zelga's side, which is Paradox Cave, which is useful both for the connectors and because there's much stuff in there. So
yeah, I expect him doing that maybe after finishing the complete Kakariko tip. Like we saw the well already, so the North Light World stuff is not that important anymore, because you don't have to check every drop down. They're not that useful anymore.
yeah,
So I can see a skip of the North Darkwood here. And Andy finding his way to Kakariko another way.
Is that Sanctuary, Spectacle Rock straight to Kakariko?
Yes. Yeah, I think there was like 2 or 3 bomb shops here, so Andy should be fine on bombs.
and another way into Paradox.
Nice.
So Zelga will presumably find that for actually going in for the items. And so
Yeah, I think it will find it first.
Can skip that exit on his later checks. The dam in Kakariko saves us concern later. And ZelgaDissan choosing to do 8-bomb front of escape. Thoughts?
Okay. Thoughts? I don't like to play because escape is not necessarily an logic, because for the second and third checks we need this bomb, this US key to have the checks in logic, and bomb escape is not that fast.
Yeah.
Hey, you can find many items which can make that dip faster.
Yeah, I mean, you can always come back, right?
The second and third chest.
So that's a Turtle Rock entrance in Kakariko as well. So this place is loaded up with dungeons and caves. Like, this has actually been a loaded Kakariko in terms of interesting locations.
Yeah, especially Paradox Cave can pay out a lot with 7 items in there.
Well, and I think there's just been a bunch of 1 and 2 item caves, which I don't know, right? It makes it. We're substantially decreasing the number of random item caves left out in the world.
Like, the thing is, on Sega's side, we all know he is skipping Eastern Penance for a reason that I maybe cannot understand, but then he is doing Bomb Escape.
Yeah, I agree that these are conflicting motivations.
Okay, I wanna get my Sega ready because I forgot to actually have it open. Manga do some stuff. I actually know what I'm talking about.
ZelgaDissan opts out of checking the connectors in the castle, which is plausible.
That's you can check the connectors, but with Paradox Cave in Kakariko, it's not very understandable for the connectors because you wanna get that out of the way first.
Yeah, absolutely. Zelga chooses also not to go into Turtle Rock. He can principal kill the Pokey, but that's no fun, and with no he's got a Turtle Rock stall.
Monkey. Found one in front of escape. Oh, where did Andy find that connector?
I don't know, but that's the old man entrance at Turtle Rock Bridge, which is not anybody's excitement.
That was Bomble Hard in Kakariko. So we have a semi-good spawn point in Kakariko if we can save the old man.
I mean, it's certainly faster than walking here from Link's house, so as silly as that is. That spawn point will also be useful in the event we turn up a mirror. So it's worth keeping that in mind.
Yeah, it's a good one to know about Ernie. But other than that, you still want to get the spawn point for the back entrance as well.
Yeah.
Sega finishing his out in Kakariko in Paradox Cave, most likely.
So Zug just found the bottom of Spectacle Rock there. I don't know how excited the runners are going to be to retraverse Spectacle Rock to get back to Kakariko later, but I'm interested to see if we see Zelda do that at some point, having seen the bottom.
It feels like that Sega just gets all the checks that he's doing and done a little bit faster than Andy. At least in the first 10 minutes, he has a very slight lead.
Yeah, and he's got 300 fewer rupees, but that's probably not important.
As long as you don't have a glove or flippers. But wait, we already have a glove.
I still think that Zelga's not racing, Andy's not racing to Zora, right? So it's only at the moment that ZelgaDissan would otherwise choose to make the Zora check that the money matters.
Oh, that's another permanent weapon. bow.
Yes.
Oh, it's not really permanent, but it's somewhat permanent.
And the cape is not irrelevant yet either. On the other hand, now it is. A sword solves all of zelgadissan's problems with Paradox Cape.
I mean, the combo sword plus cape doesn't unlock anything on its own, but having a sword and cape is always pretty nice.
Yeah.
See where this connector goes.
This is the last exit to Paradox.
It's GT.
That's cute.
Yeah, he was thinking going to the right here, but only he would not survive that.
So he can come in and take a death to check this first item. Looks like it's going to do that. Tell me, you're not excited to go back to Dark West Death Mountain if you don't have to. So I like this choice.
Yeah, and I mean, skipping it would be fine as well because it is out of logic, and it's only one item that you might want to come back to later anyway if you find another small key.
The time cost of that death isn't that high.
Okay.
And with a real item, I mean...
Okay, we should watch Andy here, who has stumbled against a Minimodom. Now finally gets a sword. So he should not die, but he cannot do the bomb jump.
I enjoyed the arguments with the Minimoldorm with the bow, and then like, oh, it's a sword right here.
That could help Andy that he doesn't follow the connector here. We know it's basically useless. It only gives some information.
Yeah. On the other hand, we're going back to Dark Death Mountain at some point today.
And of course, with the Dam North Lane, I can see Sega going to the South Shore here. Check like all of it in 2 slips.
Yeah, this looks like a dam end left maneuver.
And Andy is gonna give us Hydro Castle, which we have already seen on Sega's side, and then probably will follow 1 or 2 connectors.
And Andy, by being patient about coming in here, gets to do this with a real weapon, which will save. I don't actually know how much difference the time is between a bomb escape and a sword escape. 30 seconds?
I would say like 20-ish. But for sure it's not under, you should not underestimate like 20 seconds even in Crosskeys. You can win your races.
And Andy, with years of nonsense habit, tends to do fairly efficient movement, pumping against walls and walking diagonals in a reasonably optimal way. But a lot of runners don't bother with because it saves pixels at a time.
Ooh, and that's a good item here in Skywoods. Flute.
Yep. ZelgaDissan now has to go back to Kakariko. Sigh.
Yeah, I would have checked, because he died, I would have probably checked Minimodom Cave anyway, because they already did the Death Wall, but doesn't lose like any time. Yeah, early Flute is always nice. It's like one of the 2 items you always want to find early. It's Flute and glove, and Flute and boots that can speed up your Crosskeys game by a lot.
I actually would have considered going left there after getting the Flute, because the Flute to the desert doesn't actually put you that close to Agina's Cave, and so that was a reasonably good time to go check the rock and the 2 entrances in the desert.
Yeah, he can do that anytime now. And yeah, Skyward Sports and Minimodom Cave, I missed that by a second. Was not at the dam.
Thank you, trackers, for telling commentators that they're wrong. In which case, I like the Civic Quit much better.
Okay, and Andy also showing us spots in Dark Sauce today.
You're much more excited to do this with a sword than you've been trying to do it completely in darkness.
It's a map for Hela, so that's basically useless.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're beating Hera when you find it anyway, so...
Yeah, and if you can beat it.
So with Flute in hand, we're straight off the mountain as the densest area available.
So yeah, early Flute, early Glove, early Bow, early Sword. That's a really nice Crosskeys seed. We only have 3 hearts, but that probably isn't too bad. And Andy getting spit out a Dark Bronxox and cannot check the other connector at Hydro Castle, but really sucks for him.
Yeah, he'll check a couple of. He'll probably bunny walk to here, and then maybe one more check.
And no bunny walking required for Secret today. Only a piece of art in Dark Bomb Shop.
You had a moment of hope there, didn't you?
Yes.
That he God momented the solution.
So let's see if the old man is gonna be early or maybe pretty late in the seed. Oh, there he is. Thank God. Not on Hela itself.
Yeah, I'm surprised, speaking of connectors, ZelgaDissan did not follow the Elder House connector and get to the ledge. Maybe for fear of getting locked out, but so presumably the next time he save and quits, he'll save and quit to the old man and find his way, the fast way back to Kakariko.
Yeah, so that really works out for him. Like, wouldn't have been too bad to check it the other way. I don't think it's safe to lose any time here. Maybe would have been better to save, or to check the ensigns first and then saving the old man. And wow, of course, we find how to cut the smoke early, so the TR Smokey isn't nothing.
Hooray.
Nice.
So here's Andy making that south play. He made a few bunny checks. He did more bunny walking there than I think I would have expected from a runner in that sort of position.
Yeah, at least he now gets his flute.
And this is the last entrance on Zelga's route. So this is actually a really convenient time to find desert.
Yes.
Even with the flute in hand, we're still interested in following connectors, just for Dark World access mostly.
Yeah, Dark World access information mostly this time, and maybe we can get a connector to Light World this mountain, which could have like Pearl or Boots.
There's some bombs on the torch.
So I don't saw it earlier, but did Andy steal the small key from Desert Palace?
He almost. I didn't see it, but he almost always does. So,
yeah.
And speaking of East F Mountain, that's exactly where we went. So, good commentating.
And it did steal the small key. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I forgot to even look because I just assumed that it would happen. Because I don't think I've ever seen Andy walk into the back of Desert Palace and not take that key.
No, there are 4 checks here on East Mountain.
Yes, one of the more inconvenient 4-item caves. Attached to a dungeon.
Exactly. Okay, that's a small key to pod. It's our second one already.
And a bow, which so if and when pod turns up, we can actually get a decent number of checks in there. Of course, you'd rather have the hammer as well, but beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, 3 hearts, hammer, no lamp, no fire rod. Ernie, Kutzak, and there's Eastern Palace. Zelga and Andy is going in to probably play against Zelga, who will not do this until he has the Eastern Palace key. Or he does not locate the Eastern Palace key in Eastern.
Andy did go in, look at Eastern, and be like, nah, I don't want to do this. and then go back in, which is presumably like, Zelga's not going to do this. Let's see if we can just win it on the spot.
Let's have some fun.
I mean, if there's something really good in here, I think Andy mostly feels like he just wins, right? And so it's worth paying a minute for you win the game.
Yeah, at this point it would be reasonable to skip Eastern Palace from my perspective, because you have a bow, so you only need one more item to finish the dungeon. And you have a flute to easily reach Eastern Palace here, so there's totally a good reason to skip it. But of course you can go in every time. Also works.
Zelgadissan once again reaches the end of a natural route and checks the next connector.
I have a feeling it will go on this mountain.
We'll see how long it takes Zelga to check the old man save and quit point. With the flute in hand already, he's much less likely to just have random save and quits.
He will have one soon.
Yes, and that's a
key. We can only see but not get. Let's see the other TR connector. So we probably won't see anything in TR here because we already saw the exit for TR left.
Yeah. It's a kind of obnoxious place for that entrance when the big key turns up.
I wonder what Dark Zone that is. Is that one where you can fall down?
I think it's the left side of the Dark Mountain Descent cave.
Yeah, I would guess so.
Ah, here's that old man save and quit.
I think it has to be even the Dark Connector. Oh, both skins are black? It's not good.
And Zelga finds the connector to Kakariko, which is much less exciting than it would have been before they got the flute.
Okay, and Sega now comes up to Eastern Palace, which we know is completely useless. And if you are Sega, you are skipping it.
He thought about it. That was more thinking about it than I would usually expect from Zelga.
Yeah, I think I would skip it in this point personally as well, because bow and the big Q for Eastern Palace comes up right after.
Yes.
That must be a bad. And we will know that Sega is heading to Eastern Palace in a few seconds.
There's that's one of the arguments for, even if you're not going to skip it forever, putting it off for a little bit, until you finish the things that are nearby.
Yeah, I think it's more reasonable to Andy to just skip it for a minute, maybe wait for the lamp to show up, maybe wait for Boots to finish the dungeon faster, because he already went in. Also, laser bridge time.
Yes. And Andy doing excellent laser skips. These guys are excellent one for a reason. It was worth noting that Zelga finally checked a tree pole, and I think it was tier 3. But it was 8 bombs, and we don't care anymore. Right? Like, they're full up on bombs, they have a bunch of good weapons. That would have been really exciting 20 minutes ago, and by the time they got around to checking it, it just doesn't matter anymore. Alright.
It will get pretty interesting if Andy chooses to skip Eastern Palace here for a while now, because of the dumb big key.
Just bombs at vanilla Lumberjack, but that does mean we have one more out before we have two drop downs left, and one of them is Ganon. One of them sank, and the other one is the pyramid. Bruno on the library.
I think we're only missing the useless drop down.
Yes, I believe.
Oh, have you seen the C stop down? I'm not sure. And the woods. Oh yeah, then we're missing magic pad.
I apparently missed Ganon, the magic bat check. Dang it,
yeah.
Akir.
Okay, then we're missing a magic bed and the drop down for the woods, I think. Like, there's an item we could get.
It's not Lumberjack, Jacob. It was Lumberjack.
So magic bed is behind Negative the seat.
Yeah, that sucks.
I have magic bed on Ganon and the sea drop down in Sang. So I can actually never go to Sang again. Yeah, Andy immediately going back for Eastern Palace, knowing he will probably lose another like 30 seconds ish, 40 Sega by doing that early.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's an argument that Andy could put this off until Boots turned up, or try to put it off until Boots turned up, given that it's not too far out of the way. This feels like a pretty risk-averse move by Andy.
Yeah. The main problem is that the Eastern Palace big key puts the big chest in logic, so you have one chest in logic at least.
Yeah. There's still a fair number of things to do, though. So.
This point is not even that much. We have Eastern area, we have a bunch of stuff in South Shore, and that's basically it.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know. I think that's enough that I would, because the cost of putting this off is not that high, especially because you have to walk over here, right? It's fluting back to Kakariko and walking in, so.
Yeah, now to do this thing of the sea would be Eastern Palace has nothing and it's a pendant.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's 7/10 of a crystal at the moment. And I don't see any justifiable way to leave this behind.
Cause you dipped Eastern Palace and feel bad for going in with Picky again. Like, there's a reason to skip it. Like you said, you have enough other stuff to do and it's only one check in logic. And you might not even have to do Eastern Palace again, and then you might even save time by doing Eastern Palace only because you never go for the boss. But obviously we don't know that until Andy finishes the boss here in a few seconds.
Peace. Are we excited?
And it's a pendant! So maximum punish for Andy.
Ooh.
Wow. Eastern empty and Eastern dippable and Eastern bad. Why is there no other soon emote for Eastern Palace bad?
I would kind of, so now Andy wants it to be, I mean, they're both going to do it, but Andy wants pedestal seed, question mark. Alright, here's new checks on Andy's side.
Finally some new checks.
A fortune teller. There's going to be a lot of blank checks out there just because so many of the items, the entrances in Kakariko were items. So.
Okay, and a Fairy Fountain gives us a lead potion, which is far better than the bee.
We have reached, we're not at the point in the seed where a bee is actually useful anymore. Hey, Terra.
Speaking of the Terra map that we already found.
Yeah, but we don't have a any way in here, so enough of checked our map is 0 cost.
Also, why did Sega not pick up any hearts going into the Dark Room? I am scared.
Because you can just pick these ones.
I have a feeling that picking up 2 hearts is probably faster than this one, but I don't know for certain.
So, Hera, no logically interesting items, but or logically interesting at this moment. But sword number 2 was there. If we ever find our way to the castle. And also, that's just a great. That's a sword's great.
I mean, we have a sword, and Sega already found the book. So that sword might actually be progression of some sort if you need it for a tablet or for the Agate Tower entrance at this point.
Yeah, we can't get to the tablets right now, but yeah, there's it could become logically relevant, and right now it doesn't open up any checks that we're aware of.
Another map because we haven't found enough.
And Andy chooses to do the hobo check. I assume this is the hobo check on the way to the Zora check. The in-logic Zora check.
Yeah, he has that money super early. Sega picked up some other money somewhere, so he could also do that super early. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Andy not even went up for the mountain at one time. At this point,
Or
he
before
knows
checking
where
that red
the
area.
spawn point is, but
This is Zelda doing Ice Rod. Yes, there was nothing on the ledge.
let's see if the big fish has anything today. Andy going for the slightly faster but difficult route to not break his fake flipper to get to Zelda faster. And it's just a big piece of heart.
And
Andy, not piece of heart, it's just a heart container.
I mean, it's a whole unbroken heart. I'm surprised that Andy bothered to pick that. That heart number 7 was worth his time. Zelda-san using the sword beams to get out of Tower Fair. That's cute. I mean, Zelda needs arrows.
Yeah.
Or not.
He finds them.
And this is he took the entrances in the wrong order and picked up the 20 from the ferry.
Of course, Andy's yeah, Andy is the clear winner here of the Business game. Sega had no chance to begin with.
These guys have both beaten the B-Miser, so they have lots of practice.
Yeah. Also, why do we have like 10,000 maps already?
No map checks, because this is Crosskeys.
I would guess that we get a light world check soon, because we already found the desert and the Heather map, at least on Andy's side.
That's Bumper Cave, and we can traverse Bumper Cave, because we have a cape. So let's go do that.
So many connectors already.
Yeah.
And
he successfully doesn't fall in the hole, getting past that hole, which is kind of annoying, actually. And it's one of the required connectors to exist, but not anywhere interesting. But at least it's a one-time useful thing for Andy to get to these desert entries.
yeah, at this point we have like almost seen all of the good connectors. It feels like.
We're missing Bumper Ledge and maybe Desert Ledge.
Yeah, the Maya area especially. It's always good.
And then the Meyer area, which is not useful immediately, but might be later. Speaking of interesting places to find, how about Ganon's Tower? Might be progression here.
Was it at the Ferry Cave or the 50 Rupee Cave? I don't know either. But let's see if it has anything useful.
Blue mail on a torch and a map on the ledge. But we have a book, so Zelda's going to lawyer his way into the front door of the desert.
Too many maps.
What has our lawyering brought us? Passive fairy.
Bombs! And there's a bomb shop. It's Bomb and Powder. That existed today. Yeah, but what is left?
Are you happy about that distribution? Pod and Swamp is the as red crystals.
Could be worse. Could be TR
It could be TR.
and Maya.
I mean, once TR is on your list, Meyer being on the list isn't the end of the world. So I think this is the last entrance.
And test item.
Little Rock Big
TR
Key.
Big Key.
Flippers, putting all that
Flippers.
flipper stuff in logic. Andy hasn't checked the island. I wonder if he'll remember that. Nope. Oh, he's got to do the mountain. So Andy, in Andy's mind, there's a bunch of mountain checks left. But
Yeah, we don't know that the TR Big Key doesn't give us anything at this point
is
because
the
TR Light was in the Dark World.
Yep.
Let's
Hey,
see what the small key is. Swamp Palace. Wait, we haven't seen Swamp Palace yet.
we haven't
It's
seen
too
it.
early.
We've drained the dam and found the small key, so we can head right on in there and get as far as the first item lock.
But what do we have left at this point? Like Sega's gonna find his flippers probably. Like the one just in TR? Yes.
I think we're down to connector diving and or bunny walking. So Andy did not get as far as archery game, I don't believe, in his bunny walk. I don't know if they've found other bits of Dark World that are connected. And we've seen Desert Left. Zelga knows where this goes, but doesn't know what the item is.
Yeah, then we go to the Hammer House in Witch of Outcast, which is, of course, not useful.
I am impressed with Andy's cape pokey kill there to avoid the bunny beam. That was well done.
And fast. Oh, and Sega faced bomb jump, which actually doesn't do anything.
And Zelga's walking out here, which I think is just wrong. I think it's faster to save and quit.
Yes.
With...
I agree. Especially because you can save and quit by falling down. But yeah, I think we will find progression here in the next chest on Andy's side. Like that, or it's like Desert Connector, Hyzo Connector, or Bunny Walking.
It's not clear where those connectors can go.
Top of mountain, Desert Left.
Yeah.
Top of the mountain. Top down.
Yeah, so now Zelga's presumably going to go do flipper stuff.
Where's Andy going? Oh yeah, of course. The one chest to the back. Totally forgot about that one.
Having to defeat the two Pokies kill room to actually get to the store is not optimal. But in logic. So
I wonder why Andy is not going to the mountain at all at this time.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong boycott at this point, and I'm not sure I'm not sure why. I have no hypothesis to give you, sir.
He might. That's the Moonpearl.
That's a pretty vicious location for Moonpearl.
I don't think Sega will miss the Moonpearl for too long. He doesn't have like any good connector left even that he can check. So we will probably see TR from his side in a few seconds as well.
Eddie getting dead rocked. Bye.
I mean, Sega is probably gonna head to check how's it called? The Lake Hardy Island and Hobo before going to TR, but then he is almost fixed.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna get pretty close to last locationing that Moonpearl, but I don't think there were very many outs to not last location that Moonpearl. Right, the TRP key was in a pretty bad spot, and then actually getting to that chest is a pain, and so I don't think it was like
big key again. Probably forgot.
Ice Rod. It was in one of the fairy fountains, but I don't remember which one.
Oh,
I don't remember the
had
fairy
to be the
fountain was.
second. Then it had to be the second one because the first one was 210 arrows.
Right. Yeah, and like you did when Andy went back in there, like, where's he going? And then he went through the door to get to that chest. Zelda has to remember that it's possible, and that we believe in him. But
Yeah, I think the only thing he has left in logic is funding Hyrule Castle and Desert Palace at this point.
yeah, so if he starts doing that, we're worried for him. But this, I think, is straight to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, especially now with the Master Sword, it's actually pretty easy to kill the Pokies.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the chest, the Moon Person is on logic without any weapon, so you may be required to do that with bombs only.
Bombs and pots. I've done it. It's hard, especially on low health.
Yeah. And if it's required early, you tend to have low health.
Yeah. you hit one pokey slightly at the wrong angle with a pot, and you get a pokeball in the face, and you explode.
Yeah, I also like it doing that check first before going to the throne, because you may find the mother here in that chest. Definitely you could do the throne as well, and we have already seen the back.
Yeah, it makes sense. And Zelda gets paid. We'll see if he's going to go back in the lava chest and the change up chest.
Yeah, I think while he's here, it's just doing it. Of course, why not?
Yeah.
He could maybe just waste his Monkey and not kill the Pokey because he already has one.
And Andy, not having taken the desert connector, I think, is now going to get.
So Sega is pretty much only the book ahead, which he found on Issa's Mon in the Light World, and some connectors that Sega has checked over Andy.
Yeah,
Andy has, I think, Hyrule Castle connectors checked.
Yeah,
and that he has more.
And then South Dark World bunny checks, but the bunny checks aren't that efficient because you leave behind Prince's Head Cave. So
when did we find a Nagatawa small key?
I don't remember. The pod ball. And having checked Lumberjack, we know we don't have to go back to beat that guy. So, sorry, having checked Lumberjack and with the Master Sword in hand, we know we don't have to go back to beat that guy.
Yeah, Sega probably will go to the chest eventually because of Ice Palace. It's the other entrance on Darkest Mountain.
Which Andy's about to show us, but has no way in.
And that's a crystal and that's what Palace.
So Andy straight away goes to check the back exit of Old Man, which I'm pretty sure we haven't seen this exit anywhere. Whereas Zelga's off checking the.
We might have seen that on Darkest Mountain, but we don't know it yet. No, it cannot be on Darkest Mountain because we fell into a hole.
Yes. For once, I wasn't lying. Yeah.
That's such a useless spawn point.
Right above our other spawn point. I mean, if this connector goes somewhere, maybe it's something.
Could make this spawn point better, but that spawn point is still not that good because you have to actually take two connectors to get somewhere. But the connector itself is pretty good.
I foresee us using this connector at some point in the future.
Maybe.
Yeah.
On yet another connector into my area, which is stupid. Let's see if anything is in Hype Cave. That could be a place where Andy gets back pretty late because he already checked a bunch of instances here with Bunny, but there's nothing here.
Nothing here. And that was nothing in Chicken Hut. Um, we don't have any medallions. We can't get into the main entrance. So Andy's just going to connector follow again. We have 3 connectors deep.
Oh, and he gets attacked by a dog. Hopefully he can survive. On cam at least.
And I think this is a shopping mall trip from Zelda. Having already done Ice Rod, having basically the last location of the Moon Pearl. This seems like as good a time as any to make this trip.
And Sega has an experienced Crosskeys runner already equips his potion or cape to not get totally burned by this bomber here, which can totally like you.
At least we're not. At least we're not. Trying to fake flipper it, but it's still no fun. Cape and potion. That's not less about.
Yeah, using potion is fine because you might not use that potion for a long time to see it.
Yeah.
And it's basically one of the best uses in that case.
I mean, that's a huge time loss if you die there, so use your choice. I think many people in many video games have another pod small, tendency to oversave their items, and don't do that.
There's the other connector.
All right, let's see if there's anything here on the right side of the desert. I missed the first check. $20. And I think Andy's now committed because this is pretty far into a saving quit.
I don't think he's gotten anything.
I don't think anything actually has been relevant.
It can't be too far from a saving quit. Like he started my area and then he had. Oh no, he had a saving quit after that one.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but the problem is he may now find the Eastern Mountain checks, and I think it had like 1-2 keys.
Mm-hmm.
So the key stealing here is pretty risky. We know that there's a palace exists though. Like he can already know that as well.
He might map check before committing.
Yeah, he is committing.
I mean, he just has to remember all the things he finds, because he's not going to clear any dungeons. And I don't remember if any of these places have anything useful.
Maybe a pot small key? But other than that, Andy already has like all of Sega's item.
Yeah. Because a pod small in here, maybe. I find it interesting that he's not going in. Maybe he's going to check this last entrance and then save scum and potentially come back for Leaf Sound later.
Yeah, at least he will probably end this round. I mean...
that book is unfortunate, but yeah, reset.
That's the problem with save scumming the small key. You need it. You don't need it eventually, but now he misses out on the Darkness Mountain because he cannot follow the connector, which we know had a key in Ensigns and Tier Light, which is another check because of the big chest. So that could have given him a huge advantage. Also could have given him the Suppress Light, of course. But yeah, this is... I don't like the save scum here.
I mean, that was a particularly bold save scum. It's not free to get back to Desert Palace. And he followed it up with connector checks and things, so. Alright, we're in pod. Pod area.
We also have enough money.
Yeah.
There's pod and pod area.
in a much more convenient place for pod to be than actual pod.
Now he has to go back to the Palace once more.
I missed what the exit was, but given that he got locked out, there's not a lot of places it could have been that are, and all of them are terrible.
It was light red bonk socks.
Oh, you're not willing to pay that many minutes just to find Light World Bonk.
Yeah, it would have been like at this point if he would have gotten out to Desert main before going to Desert left. Like he could have like just save scummed, so it was a little bit unlucky he chose the Desert left exit first.
Yeah. Well, and as far as the logic is concerned, they're not quite completely equivalent, but it's pretty darn close. So they easily could have been the other way around as well.
Yeah. Pod didn't have anything useful yet. At least I didn't saw anything in there. But I don't think we saw the left side yet. Hey, there's another sword. That's useful.
Yeah, this is. They're certainly loaded for regular enemies. We'll see if they ever actually turn up, a Canis Maria or some fire rods.
And he chooses a small key for 300 rupees.
Yep, but you might as well. Yes, that means he can't go beat Helmasaur King, but he wasn't going to do that anyway. Not without a big key, and so I think doing key for item there is totally expected.
Yeah, also here we find the Potsmore key eventually in Agatawa on his way to Ice Palace. And there was the other Potsmore key that Zelda found over Andy. That was in Seastown.
The Fire Rod is in the Dark Maze, locked behind more pod keys than Zelda has, and also a lamp. So that's a Fire Rock fire source.
So Fire Rod locked behind lamp because of a Potsmore key and actually being in a dark room. Which would have been a lot more easier to figure out that Fire Rod's lamp behind lamp.
Yeah, fair.
Now we're doing right side, doing a death swap again to check the rest of pod. Yeah, the only problem is you want to death swap at both times because you wanna finish the route on Desert Palace. On pod. You're never saving quit out of pod here. Only if you find hammer in pod, then you can save and quit out.
Yeah, because he's got 2 more entrances to check over here. Yeah. That are a pain to get back to. And in fact, we might be in the walkout of pod scenario here. I don't think so. I think he's got everything else over here. But he could swim to the Northwest Dark World. No, you can't.
And Andy's gonna give us some other checks that we have not seen on Sega's side here. We have not seen that entrance. We know there's a key in the next entrance. Which could be a Potsmore key. Because Fire Rod is locked behind 6 of them. And it is another Potsmore key, so Andy is probably full cleaning the dungeon when he finds it. I don't know where the last Potsmore key is that Sega hasn't found.
And Andy's likely a bomb jump for this item here. You have to be a little bit careful. If you do the bomb jump in the easiest spot farthest left here, you clip over the rail. So there we go.
And he gets it. There's hype cap with more items.
At least that wasn't the pod. At least that wasn't the pod big key.
Oh, going for chest turns. 1. Oh, only 1.
Zelda always tries. That was not his best effort.
Okay. And that was a green pendant on Skywoods and a pendant on Maya. I'm glad I catch that.
Yeah, me too. That's full info for Zelda, which is an hour in, is really unusual.
Wasn't that like not all maps for the Dark World?
Yeah, it was pretty close. They certainly have the 2 light world maps that they don't have for the dungeons they haven't done, and they got good information off the bomb shops. So.
Now I have a bad feeling about ice palace.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kiki the monkey, what do you got for us? Hey, it's another pod smaller.
Wow, another pod small. No. Okay.
So the question is,
in one chest in logic in pod. Like that's all. That's all 6 pod small keys. I think.
between the runner. I mean, that puts into logic the key chest, but not yet the any of the dark stuff. So.
Yeah, we found all 6. Like I know that. Andy found 3 that Zelda didn't found. I think one of them was in my area, maybe. So if Andy finds pod, he can full clear it. 100%.
How did Andy get to the Elizabeth chests?
Maybe the dark connector, but don't know exactly. Yeah, dark connector. Another small key for TR. So many small keys.
Yeah, they're. Hopefully, that means we're not going to wind up in a big key hunt at the end of the map seed, but that is not yet at all guaranteed.
I like that the discovered small key in Sashna put Mozilla in logic for us, because when they found the other discovered small key for Sega in the outside pod.
Right.
Skywoods is in logic. Oh no, we need a lamp.
Yeah, we need a lamp to put the fire around in logic.
Yeah, and technically we need access to Skyward, but probably have at this point. Somehow. Through a connector maybe, that we haven't found yet. Speaking about connectors, what are we missing? We're missing like Spider Cave?
We haven't seen Spiral, we haven't seen
TR Front.
TR Front. And we've seen Brothers, we've seen Elder, we've seen.
I think we saw everything else.
Have we seen all the bust exits? We haven't seen.
Papa Cave exit. Or like the actual exit of Papa Cave.
Yes, and we also haven't seen the Rock safety door. So there's at least 2.
No, we saw on the Turtle safety door that was Hookshot Cave.
Ah! Sorry.
That was just like a minute ago on Sega's side.
I think he was so sad about it that I didn't even see it before he quit. Or went back in. Alright, and here's Zelda back to make his Moon Pearl enabled Dark Beast Death Mountain checks. Going back to this key that he knew was here.
Okay, so the only thing we have in logic for us now are probably the first check of Pod, Ice Palace, and the South Darkwood stuff. Like Digging Game. And
yeah,
Stumpy.
big game, archery game, Stumpy. Plus, you know, the I think there's a couple of North Dark World checks that Andy's heading to now that we haven't seen yet. There's these 4 entrances over here.
Yeah, but those are also not in logic currently. It's out a hook shot,
right,
or a hammer, or something else, another glove, hook shot, the other connector.
So we're keeping an eye open for some way for Has to get here legally.
This is very interesting, because Sega should know that this is not an object without a lamp. Oh yeah, also lamp puts all the stuff in logic, basically.
The lamp has to be somewhere that is not out of logic until you find the lamp. So.
Oh yeah, the pot small keys are also not in logic, so fire is not in logic, so ice palace is not in logic.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Palace is well out of logic until the lamp turns up, but nobody really wants to wait for the lamp to do it. So.
Yeah, so we don't have anything much left in logic at this point besides the south and dark world stuff. Do we?
Did Saga make it as far as Catfish? I mean, I'm not excited about just in Catfish. I was pretty sure.
Yeah, he saw Catfish. Well, it was a shield.
Right. I even remember him leaving it behind.
Yeah, also Hammer could also put it on logic because we have normal dark world access with Hammer.
And here's I think Andy got a bomb out to do current jump, and then was like, "Wait a minute, I don't have to do any of that nonsense. I can just swim."
Yeah, it would be best off to do Catfish here and then do Hydro Castle left via connector to get to Dark Story Mall, but we know that and Andy doesn't, so he might walk back from Catfish to check that that's the pot, which is pretty reasonable knowing that he already got the top of Hydro Castle.
Yeah.
So he don't has to have a mirror for that check when he goes there. But yeah, Sega's probably gonna end his out in the Skywoods, as it looks like.
Yeah, it's a risk-averse thing to do, right? Because until you turn up there, there's a 1 in 4 chance you just get stuck, and you might be required to enter right there. You want to get these other things out of the way before you take that chance.
But that means we have like 3 checks in 1 instances left in logic for us, and the 1 check in port could be very not deadly for Sega, but could bring Andy back by a lot if it's like Hammer mids or something, and Sega misses them for quite a lot longer.
There's the Whirlpool to Shopping Mall. There's a small key on Bumper Ledge. There's not a ton of small keys we're super excited to find at this point, so we're not that incentivized to go connector diving for that.
Yeah, a good one would be, of course, there's a palette which we know is useless, and the Sea Stone small key is always a good one to have. But other than that, like every single small key is useless.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
the pod key is on the pod chest is also non logic because we need access to get to the small key.
I mean, we can get here with just the equipment we have legally. The connector.
Yeah, we can get the pod, but we cannot get the pod with 6 keys in logic currently.
At least one of them is lamp locked.
Yeah, one of them was in Village of Outcast.
Here's Andy making those last few Dark World accessible checks. So Stumpy, archery game, big game.
I have a feeling about a lamp. I'm betting that we are seeing lamp on digging game.
Yeah, it's rare that lamp logic is this restrictive, but so to recap the tournament situation, the winner is into the brackets with the top 6 seed. The loser goes.
Hey! That's a lamp!
good
I was not
being.
reading the spoiler log, I swear.
Unfortunately, we know that you can't read the spoiler log. Zelda finds Swamp in the back of Skullwoods. It's a terrible place for it. So let's do what we can while we're here.
I finally did it. I called an item on comment as a commentator. I feel great. Go on and explain it to me now.
Good tracking it. There was only like 3 places left in the world. And of course, I mean, Andy is aware of the logic, but the lamp as your progression item never makes anybody happy. Like, yay, now a bunch of stuff I could have done anyway, I can still do. Sorry, going back to the tournament recap, the loser goes into a play-in race. I haven't actually calculated the numbers, but roughly...
I think it was 10 spots, 16 to 17 lasers.
Yeah, it sounds about right. So it's a fairly high likelihood, and whichever one of these guys loses is certainly a favorite to make that top 10.
Okay, Andy almost dying. Let's see if he can survive until part. It should be doable.
He's not worried because he's not going to go talk to that guy and get his health back. This next episode's pod. So
Ice Vicky was in Hype Cave at Flute 5.
I enjoy that Andy, as we mentioned earlier, had his red potion on the old quick swap, and if any enemies had gotten anywhere close to scaring him, there would have been a quick potion drink.
How did Sega? Oh, Sega would have death swapped it, then he and then I see these spawns in the pin balloon, so he chooses not to death swap. But yeah, Fire Lord, Ice Palace, logic, go.
Actually, looking at the this will be top 9 qualified from that race.
Okay. But let's see.
This item is important.
It's boots! Uh-oh.
That's bad for zelgadissan.
That's bad for Sega, because he might leave that behind for a long time. But they probably don't have logical implementations, because we have seen most of the boots checks at this point. We have seen the Desert Pass Torch, we have seen GT Torch, we have seen 2 of the 4 boots checks on the Night World. So at least they are not required, but of course having boots is always better than not having boots, and that could bring Andy the 5 minutes back he lost in the early game.
That's why I was talking as Andy dug things up. I assumed that I had a good few seconds while he dug, and of course dig number 1 lamp got me.
Like Sega could go back to pot here, but I can't see it, to be honest, for one item.
Yeah, I have to remind you that Andy knows how to hover and is reasonably likely to head to Hookshot Cave in short order. So
I don't think you go out of the way to check out of logic checks in Hookshot Cave. Like that's unreasonable.
Fair. Yeah, probably not until a mirror turns up and takes you back to the Mire area for the mirror checks.
Yeah. Like, Howard is low, especially if you're not confident enough to do it, but he probably is.
Remember that there is one in logic check in the Hookshot Caves.
Oh yeah. But they are now... You might not do that for heading into ice. But yeah, I can see Sega going to ice after this one. Yeah, but small key, so it isn't super bad to go into ice early. You might find a hammer in there.
Yeah, you're it's always a bit sketchy to make that Ice Palace tip without full gear, because it is kind of a tedious. It's a long way down to some of the chests.
Yeah, Boots doesn't give him anything logically like spawn and sense at this point. We either need mirror or mids to actually have more logical implementation for
We've
Boots,
seen-
so that's good for Sega at least.
Have we seen both the Lightsbrook Boots entrances? I thought we'd only seen Bomb Shop and Sanctuary Bonk Rocks.
We did saw the Link's House Bonk Rocks and the Bomb Shop Dark Rocks, but we haven't seen the Sanctuary Rocks, I think.
Okay. There is one Boots entrance out there. Plus King's 2.
Yeah, also discovered no logic. Nice. I would not be surprised if Skywoods has anything important. Like, we get all the 3 Skywoods more keys after we found all 6 pots more keys.
The library was found. It had Cane of Burna. Neither of these runners is going back for Burna, especially with Cape in hand. The second invincibility item just doesn't accomplish anything at this point. Let's see how this Fire Rod Buffalo fight goes.
Wait, did Andy just forgot to go back to Flute 5? Or does he do anything after? Only bombs, but the Green Pennant has an item on Saha.
Yeah, and Saha's
But I
not
think-
pretty back in. And Chad is quite rightly pointing out that we're not that far from Misery Mire being completable either. So
I think Sega's gonna go up the mountain here. He's not gonna go up the mountain here. He's gonna follow Hyrule Castle to go back to pot to get its boots.
it would be a
Oh no, he can check Dark Source here. Don't think he's gonna go further.
I mean, while he's here, he can check an exit if he hasn't checked them all. So in terms of items, we definitely need Hammer, Ice Rod, Solaria, right? And
I
potentially
thought hook shot.
Hook Shot as well. Yes, first Swamp.
Yeah, we have found all the dungeons, so we do need a Sea Stone big key. The Hella big. Nah, we don't need a Hella big key. Desert Palace big key. That's it. For items, it's not that much. And there's your Hover Cave incoming. Why Sega is heading to.
I'm slightly unsurprised by this. I agree with you that there's an argument for leaving these behind, but there's one way to press an advantage if you're Andy, as if there's something here.
Yeah, there are these Sivers, which don't have currently, but those checks here might help. But they're only 20 rupees. Oh, he's doing. He was going that connector. A heart piece, and he failed the hammer. But does he goes back? He does. It's another small key, Fines. That's
Ooh.
completely useless.
Yeah, and Zelda-san actually doing Agate Tower with the lamp, which is a rare and wonderful mystery.
Yeah, ice has to be something at this point. But what will you get in ice? A hammer? Maybe? Hook shot? Somalia could
I mean,
be
even
progression.
mirror emits would also be fine, if not exciting.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
Yeah,
plenty
I
of
think
ways.
Miller would be an reasonable item here. Sega did not check the impend yet because that's pretty far out of the way. You have to go to the Darkness Mountain for another connector to Bridge of Outcast right now. But he will probably find something here to get to back to Sashona quicker.
There's plenty of ways to get back there faster. So for a one-off check, he's not gonna go out of his way to make that. Desert Big Key.
That's one item we need.
Maybe not an item we need right this second, but definitely an item we need.
Yeah, this appendix will push him to check the impendant. Like, he can check the big chest, go further back to Village of Orcus area to actually check the impendant. Because the impendant is in a really awkward position. The dumb thing here is now he can choose to not do the bomb jump to get to Ice-T quicker. But on the other side, the hammer's not unreasonable here to find. And then if he does not do the bomb jump, he cannot check the boss and it's successful. So he would probably do the bomb jump here. Yes. And Andy's thinking.
And making faces. It's always a bad sign when you can see the visible confusion on the runner's face during a race.
I cannot full clear a dungeon. Where should I go next? And he is choosing Ice Palace. Which is probably a good check.
Yeah, he just gets to... It's not of all the places to run around, this one's not great because all the rooms are so small, but... Bombos
Classic.
In Ice Palace.
So we found 2 medallions that we don't need. Good game design, Randomizer.
And
so
we
it's
have
either the next chest, Ice-T, or if it comes worst to worst, it is Clean Pendant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sega will save sometime here because he hovered. Oh yeah, he also participates big chest because he hovered to get the other Ice Palace Walkie, so he can get to Ice-T them a little bit faster. Don't have to take
whole hokey pokey. Yeah. Yeah, this is not the most convenient route through Ice Palace.
You will probably see just a Desert Palace clear from Sega, because why not? Especially after finding the Desert Palace Marquee as well. But yeah, that is all time that Andy gets with boots that Sega doesn't.
And
Andy cheats more with his boots.
I'm impressed he managed to get out of that pause without losing a summer.
Map checks. Yeah, Andy is crawling back further and further with the boots. Sega pretty much needs support big key and the hammer to show up pretty soon now to actually have a reason to go back to port.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Andy is gonna outrun him here. He's almost catch up by now.
True. Yeah. I guess it's getting close.
Andy Andy did not check Ice-T first, which I don't like. Because now he has also to do the long way around. Otherwise, he could have just checked Ice-T first. He had a small key to do that.
Yeah, I'm not. It seems like just a mistake.
Yeah, he was like, I have this Ice Pen small key, so I'm not allowed to use it. Maybe. Probably not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's probably a Desert Penis / Green Pennant trick here, and that's very long walk. But at least it's on a route, kinda, through Desert Penis. But even then, Andy is faster again because he has the connector in Bonk Rocks. Which Sega has not even seen yet.
And I think he will not be tempted to check that connector here, but he might.
He actually might. He hasn't found the Bumper Cave connector.
That's fair.
But yeah, that will probably turn the lead into Andy's side here. Especially if Sega checks the connector. And Andy correctly remembers that he stole the Disappear small key so he can waste one small key in the back. To save himself like 2 seconds.
I'm frankly impressed he remembered to not pick it up.
I did it
Nope.
once and I
Never
was
mind.
like, damn it, I picked this monkey up. Bye!
He just did it again.
Oh,
So, all that save's coming, and he didn't even make back his 2 seconds. Right.
could have known. So is there anything in the big chest? There should be, if it's not Green Pendant.
And this is an expected, but still impressive one-cycle Lenma with silvers for Andy.
I guess that 7 quid should bring him back to port for his boots.
Yeah. I don't know if I like that. I think I like walking out the connector there.
Oh no, he's going to the connector to Darkness Mountain. Wait, that's not. No, yes, that is PT. Andy on the other side is going to check Sanctuary Bonkox.
All crocs that need a name to differentiate them. It's Meyer.
Oh, boots are required for progression. Most likely. And that's the reason why you should have probably checked the Bonkox first before going into ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, another pendant, but at least we cannot clear it yet. So it's either Maya or Green Pendant. It would be better for Sega if it's Maya. Or it would be better for Sega if Maya is just complete garbage and he never has to go there.
Yes.
But that's probably not it.
That would be optimal. Mitts. Now it's a bunch of things. Again.
But the mids are not logic. We need another 2 other Maya small keys. One could show up now. Oh no, it's the hammer.
Hammer on Sahasrara.
I don't even know if it's good.
I mean...
What even opens? Oh, I guess you can... Even Ice Palace is not a good check. Neither the right side or the boss is a logic with only hammer.
We can check Hammer House, which we know is dead because Andy was there earlier. But it was a good first check by Zelda. Like, what do I do first? Are we going all the way back through Skullwoods again?
For Swamp Pendants, yes. That's his only good check. period.
And
Like, Ice Palace is not an object without hookshot, or another Ice Palace Morky, so not without hookshot. I have a feeling that we will find hookshot in Swamp.
just for lack of better places for it to be.
Yes.
Fair enough.
At least he now can get back to pot easily with that hammer. But he needs an intercept to go back to pot, so he needs a pot big key here in Ice Palace.
Swamp Palace.
I did not skip any chests here. Fire is also useless, so it's probably... Yeah, Suggestion has to be in Swamp Palace.
They're a big.
What? Yeah, I am coming back to Ice Palace logic. You need hookshot for Ice Palace on the right side, because Ice Palace right side has a small key that you have to use to open the door to the right side. That's the easiest way to explain why hookshot is needed for the right side, because we have the big key already. You can open every other small key door in Ice Palace, but not the one to the right side, so you need hookshot to get the last Ice Palace small key to get to the right side. And that's progression in wait, where was the other big key? Was it in Maya?
It was the bridge chest in Maya.
Oh, of course. The one chest I didn't look at Andy's screen. Damn it.
You were busy ranting about Ice Palace logic. Fair enough, really.
I was explaining it. I don't think it's bad.
I actually don't. Maya key logic is something that I'm sketchy on because it always seems so relevant. But I'm pretty sure that key was in logic.
Yeah, that key was in logic. So. That's always in logic. If you can get into Maya.
Yeah, because it's not. That's the easy one to get to.
Maya is Snake and Crosskeys, or basically every time. The Blitz chest and the Spike chest are in logic and you can reach a dungeon. Then you need either one small key or big key to get everything but the right side. Then you need a big key for the boss, and then you need 3 small keys for the left side. That's basically it. But Heather is also nothing. So it is Swamp Palace with Somalia, and Somalia opens up GT basement.
And GT is relatively easy to get to, so that's likely to be zelgadissan's next port of call. Andy going back into the basement, looks like.
Yeah, we have seen it on Sega side already, and it was nothing.
Andy does have hope, and Andy is literally taking a break.
Bye, Andy!
Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunities to get up from your chair playing Crosskeys. This is definitely one of them.
Let's see if we can make it back in time.
GT big. That's an excellent find. Not quite is the answer for Zelga, given that he's about to go to GT. I think that's about 10 seconds slow on the run to blue for Andy.
Don't make it in time. Damn it.
He was even fast setting up the coffee break. So.
Yeah, if he doesn't know by 10 seconds, you know what is lost to. But yeah, we already 1.5 hours into the seed. What the fuck? Time flew by.
They were doing stuff, accomplishing things, and last locationing everything. And nevertheless, we're actually not incomprehensibly far away from the end of the seed.
Yeah, what do we need? We need a sea stone bake, we need
Ice Rod.
pot bake, ice lord. And we don't need the boot at this point now.
Hook.
We need hook shot.
Yes. And we need to find Mire, which could very easily be in a, say, mid-slot location or somewhere else horrible.
What do we need to find on the overworld?
Oh.
We already found Maya.
Andy found Mire, and of course it doesn't matter. So never mind.
And
ignore
it's
me.
a pendant.
Yeah.
And there's only the Hella Big Key, which we can sequence like with hookshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy is gonna get to Somalia on his way to Swarm. And that boots advantage could carry on until the end of the seed to give Andy the win. But we will see if Sega finds a got sooner than Andy. And May don't even need the boots. That will be very interesting.
In a seed where Andy's done a bunch of hovering, Selga might just skip even running.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised why he did not went for GT before doing ice.
Me too. I mean, this is a crystal dungeon, so always
Also
be crystal dungeons.
I mean, it's not the boss in logic now because of Somalia at this point. Okay, I can see that now a little bit clearer.
I mean, I think that there's a school of Crosskeys players that will clear crystal dungeons whether or not they're in logic, just on the principle that you're going to do them at some point. Might as well be now.
Yeah, but also for GT, you have so many items now for GT. You can go to left side. You can even go to left side if you're good with bomb jumps. Even on Sega side. And you can go to right side first because you already have these small keys. So the back is in logic for him at least. And if he finds something behind 4 small keys, he knows he's out of logic again, which you might realize. And that's only some bombs.
With the lack of mirror, neither runner has yet been interested in checking the pedestal. There are still an assortment of items that could be there. That would be good. I don't know who that's good for. Zelda probably, because he's. I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah, I think he has to go to do GT now. He has no other option. I would still feel pretty confident on Sega's side because he has done everything as basically fast as possible. And he doesn't know that he skipped boots in one check. And he finds progression that leads to more progression.
So now we get a very exciting few minutes on Zelga's side. Well, he does a ton. So let's watch he actually play the game.
You will find a mushroom on any side and the GTB key right after.
Yes. Unfortunately, not quite as right after as you would like, because without the hook shot, you have to run around like a doofus to hit the 2 checks here. But...
Oh, he's getting hit. He only has 4 hearts left. This is getting worse and worse.
Big suspense. Zelgadissan versus Tile Room. Definitely the blockbuster of the season.
And it's for Blue Boomerang.
Which is not, but almost nothing. Not quite, but almost nothing. at this point. So he's going to put the lie to me and use it multiple times in GT, I think. So.
Oh, that could have been close with the timing, having the full magic. And we still only have Green, so one more hit to the Star Force here, and he is not Star Force. And he would be dead, but he is. Oh, Andy is skipping on the blue mail, bold.
Hook shot on right side GT, mirror
And
right side
mirror.
GT.
So I'm not quite sure why Andy went to left side first.
Because he's Andy.
It's faster to do right side first anyway. Hey, there's another item that we need.
You sound big.
So GT could put us in go mode here. We just need a pot, big key, and ice slot.
Are you Clyden?
No.
If you don't get go mode, I didn't think so, but you know, worth asking.
Hey, we need one more item for go.
Yeah.
For us at least, and also for the runners. And if we find go mode here, game is certainly over because Sega never gets its boots.
Yep.
Like, it sucks that that Sega probably will lose to maybe a 50-50 in the end, because he could have checked the other chest instead of he could have checked the other port chest in port.
Is your blue boomerang there? ZelgaDissan. There we go. Yeah, with boomerang and hook, you can just do that setup. But both of those items are new, and so it was doing the much harder KNF Mario quarter clip. So with the pod big key, there's some chance that ZelgaDissan gets those boots in the reasonably near future.
Yeah, if he doesn't find Ice out here, probably finds boots somewhat soon. And I think then he's like, I guess, like 1 minute behind, and then it's if the Ice Sword doesn't show up here in GT, it's who will find Ice Sword first if it's not in a Crystal dungeon. So a good old Ice Sword hunt in the near future.
Swamp big, not the thing that anybody wants to see. I mean, Eddie does have to do GT right yet, including the tile room, and so he's not just straight ahead yet. But,
here's the Tower of Hell ahead that Sega still needs to do. He also has the Silvers ahead, and that's a lot of time if it's a close race.
Yeah. ZelgaDissan knows where Hookshot Cave is. I would be surprised if he made it to the end of the race, unless he just trips over Go Mode right here, but without checking Hookshot Cave.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't have the mirror, so he wanted to do that all in one go.
And it's worth, yeah. Zelga has to go do Para. Andy has to go back and redo Ice. Andy gets to run around. Andy still has Silvers, so. And ZelgaDissan is one right side of GT faster out of GT than Andy is. So this is close-ish.
Yeah, hopefully he goes to port now and not. I don't think he's going for Swarm before pod. He certainly is never going back for the top Hella big chest. So this late is still pretty close. I do think Sega's just gonna go for just gonna complete existed dungeons now and gonna full clear them on the way. Because Isotan sucks. And he might see some before doing pod. I can see that.
Steve San has more items here,
Yeah.
if you're from Jacob's perspective. So.
And the items you always can check.
Yeah.
But the hookshot is not in logic yet, as well as the Season Biki then.
Why?
I don't know what I would do. Only missing like one cheaty small key.
Andy has it, so it's out there somewhere.
Okay, Andy's probably gonna head to Swamp Palace because that's the fastest dungeon he can do with the most items on the way. Which totally makes sense. Because he has boots, so it cannot be any faster.
It's kind of a shame that getting to Swamp Palace is a giant pain in the butt, but occasionally something has to beat Skullwoods 3.
Oh, and Sega is going for Swamp before Pod. I don't like doing Swamp Palace first.
I, like a good radio user, am making a face at you for this choice by zelgadissan.
I don't think Swamp is a better play. Like, Pod is totally reachable and Swamp is still in an awkward location. Like, of course he doesn't know that boots are in Pod, but Pod is much more reachable than Swamp.
And your argument is that he should go to Pod, even though, just because it's a more reachable location, in the hope that between Pod and potentially Thieves Town, he turns up boots before having to do this whole ridiculous walk.
Yes. I don't know. Like, of course, if boots are not in Pod, of course, this is the correct decision to do that anyway, because you might find boots in Swamp. But we're also not in logic currently. I don't know. Like, also paying attention to key logic is kind of hard sometimes.
It's both kind of hard and not necessarily like.
It's hard to judge
here
from a commentator perspective.
I mean, there's still a fair amount riding on the location of the ice rod here. There's a
yes.
It's not here. It's not in Pod. There's the items in the back of Thieves Town, that are in their path, and the Helma's Sword drop. And
I can see why you would go to Swamp Palace before Pod, but I don't think going to see some before Pod is that great of an idea. Because I'm missing the small key.
So there's, I think, quite a number of outs for the ice rod not being along their way, which gets us back to a good old-fashioned ice rod hunt.
It looks like it, at least. So Andy's gonna finish up ice, so we know after ice where we stand in the race.
Nice hooking out of the swirly phase of Argus there. Bad Argus 2.
Like, at least Sega will find his boots eventually.
Yeah.
Like, Sega is ahead in the Isoton as long as he doesn't find Maya. And
unless Ice Rod is exactly on Vitreous.
yes.
Um,
Also, Andy could waste a bunch of time checking mislocked locations if Sega does not check Maya, and he could skip Maya from a reasonable perspective because he's on the last location, the hammer, and you can expect that someone gets the boots the first time they drink the pod, like having one more small key. Can totally get you there.
It's worth remembering that the runners have also just gotten the mirror, which unlocks a bunch of potential doors.
What a mushroom! Which
They also
not
did
given
just
away our mushroom head.
they just got it, so it's not quite as horrible as it could be. And here's the Thieves' Town check. That was actually good routing by Zelda. I was slightly confused why the mirrored on the right first, but mirror again, drop down, do Thieves' Town.
If he finds Isot here, this is like, I don't even know who's ahead. Let's see if Season has anything important. Like, I can see Andy following Sega into Season here. Like, he has no reason to not do it, other than having Ice Sword in exactly Season Big Chest.
So which pod items does Zelda have left to check? Just the big key chest and the big chest.
Yeah, it's big chest, and of course boss.
Yeah.
Also, shoutouts to our vanilla spy cave. Or was it vanilla? Not spy cave, mimic cave. Oh no, it was at the entrance to the old man. And Andy gets to check the mushroom turn-in when he goes to the zone, probably. He finishes pot first.
Yeah. Interestingly, the runner that you're shouting at to go to pod, because there's more things there for him, chooses to do it after. And I agree with one of our trackers, to file. Thank you to Iker and to file for tracking tonight, as usual, and Joe Coper is our restreamer. That there's a bunch of item dex locations out there still. So,
what would be the worst check? Probably like GT climb, zone checks of TR, which are in logic at this point.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of checks we can do, and we haven't done before Ice Lord.
Yeah, I mean, there's all the mirror locations. There it is.
Oh.
All right. Let's go.
I don't know who's ahead.
Hit the big Greek go button for Zelda. So he's never going back to Hookshot Cave and getting his silvers.
Like 40 seconds on Ganon, he will probably.
And I think he's even unlikely to check the big key chest and pod. So we're going to see.
He's never getting boots.
Bootsless, silverless, Zelgadissan.
I don't think boosters are that much of a problem. We have half magic and cape. He should he should get a 1-on-1 easily. Yeah. But Pod is probably faster than Seastown. But this is super close. TR Boots doesn't save. Like Boots will save like 15 seconds in TR. And Seastown is pretty accessible.
Yeah. It's worth noting that Andy might lose some time here going back in for the big chest.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually could make the difference in the end. He's thinking, but I think he's going back. And then he has to do Seastown. There's no way he's not doing Seastown because it's not logic. Yeah. I think that should put that like 20 seconds check could bring Zelda the win. But it's so fucking close, I don't know.
If I have been explaining the tournament rules correctly, we have no draw margin. So.
Oh no, it's 2 seconds.
It's 2 seconds? Okay.
Yes.
Somebody told me that wasn't the case anymore, and
it is for the Crosskeys tournament.
That was an administrator of this tournament. So
wait. I thought it was a tie rule. I'm looking it up.
Okay, excellent. We're looking things up while doing commentary. Always.
Not a large one.
So, talking to chat, all you need to find are the things to beat the 7 crystal dungeons and Ganon, which may or may not include assorted items and beating of the various agas, but only if they're required for in-game reasons rather than external reasons. Schultzer.
Yeah, I looked it up. I got confirmation by the Zoo set and by an admin in chat. It's 2 seconds.
Okay.
Shalana finish in 2 seconds, then it's a tie.
And if they draw, they both move on to the brackets. And all the
I think it will be the done.
Really?
There aren't ties.
That sucks. Swiss tournaments totally handle ties just fine. I shake my fist at the administrators. Okay. Zelda is off to beat Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, but at this point, Sega, I think, has enough lead. Season will probably be longer than a minute, but it's still super close.
Yeah, they're running around in the Thieves Town to bomb open the chest and rest of the maintenance things means that this never goes that fast, and Andy's not even in go mode. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and stuff like the Ernie Eastern Palace Gambit, that could make the difference in the end. Like if Sega would have gone, if Andy would have skipped Eastern Palace, he would be probably ahead at this point.
And
Sega would have dipped the first time, maybe behind now.
And then the Desert Palace save scum nonsense. And it turns out that the boots were kind of bait because they let Andy do Meyer.
Yeah, but he also saved time in Meyer by getting mid to getting to hammer faster. Like, boots were definitely not poisoned here. Boots were the main reason Andy was almost able to come back into the race. Like, boots definitely not a poison here. Boots probably saved Andy like 3 minutes total.
Even taking into account his, whatever it was, 4 minutes in Meyer.
Yes, even taking that into account, it was such a long way to get back to hammer. And Andy could have not even dipped ice. If he would have checked Meyer first, checked the impendant after getting mids, he could have singled the ice punish to be even faster. Like, the boots were definitely not a poison this seed. Yeah. I think it was time neutral, but still an advantage to
But
Andy.
there's our last connector entrance. TR front at Bumper Ledge. Not required today. But
I was
nice to know about.
I was basically expecting that TR front was on Bumper Cave. I'm not even sure if we have any. I think Spider is the other one we have left, and that's it.
Like that.
Yeah, Andy gets in go mode here, has to finish up TR, but that is probably time enough for Sega to kill off Ganon even without silvers.
Yeah, I mean the fanfare on Trinex is long enough to means that this the TR diff takes a substantial amount of time.
Also, easy one cycle even without a cape on Sega's side. Yeah, that was a really close ace. I did not think that would have been so close after that early lead from Sega, but that boots with an item that could have helped. That did help Andy a lot.
I don't
But
think
it was not a difference.
silver arrows across pits. No. But with Tempered Sword, also this fight is not nearly as the silvers aren't quite as impactful as if this was a Master Sword fight.
Yeah, Master Sword. If it was Master Sword, I think that would have been close, but it would have been Zelda's game. But with Tempered Sword, it's clearly like it will be close. It will be around 2 minutes at tops.
I mean, it's a Ganon fight, a Silver's Ganon fight behind, roughly.
Yeah, and that's about 2 minutes, I think. Yeah, roughly exactly 2 minutes. And this is gonna be a sub 2 for Sega to get his ticket into the decade phase. And being 7-1 after the Swiss stage, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's. These guys are real good. That's Zelga's 1, 2, 3, 4th sub 2 in the tournament. Nope, 3rd. He's lost to Goomba. So.
Yeah, somehow my times are getting worse and worse as long as the tournament goes on.
Oh,
I hope I don't follow that trend.
We'll roll you a jet seat for this week.
But yeah, GG's to Sega. He hopefully will join us for an interview.
And Andy will certainly join us once he's done killing a pig. So, we'll hear their thoughts.
Yeah, it's not even 2 minutes in the end.
Even with all these warps.
Okay, it's probably around exactly 2 minutes. Super Ganon warps proving me wrong again.
And that second edge of phase 3 was quite the number of things. Your race was rescheduled, right? It was supposed to be tomorrow?
Yeah, it's Saturday. I don't want to say anything wrong. 16 o'clock my time, so it is
15 o'clock UTC, and everybody else can deal with their own darn time zones. Sorry,
yes.
2 hours. 1400 UTC.
And it's exactly 2 minutes. GG to Andy, who has to join the big days on Saturday in the next week.
Welcome, ZelgaDissan, to the interview.
Hey, GG's.
GG's.
Andy will presumably be joining us in just a moment. How'd you feel that way?
I mean, this was so awkward. I almost last location the Moon Pearl. I was one check away from last locationing the hammer. Everything felt really terrible, and I'm legitimately surprised I won.
Do you want to know what the one check was you had left and while finding hammer?
Sure, go ahead.
It was boots and pod.
This game sucks, man. Why do we play this?
Yeah, that Andy got them the first time he got the pod because he had 6 spots more keys. But he was at that point, like, I guess 5 or 6 minutes behind, and that with the boots he found Maya and thankfully Bonk Socks, which had mid, so he cleared stuff a lot faster and almost made it back in the end.
Unfortunately, made up a bunch of time running around fast, and then lost a bunch of time running around Maya. And then made that up again to some extent with the mitts. But we'll see if he joins us. I want to make a comment on a super early gameplay, which is you found a bunch of money in the useless fairy drop in the well, and chose not to do Houlihan. Congratulations. That was good. Good choosing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of it is to get early game resources, and if I'm going to get in the well and get a 300, there's not much point in continuing. It's not like I'm going to be rushing Zora anytime soon. I'll find enough along the way. Yeah,
I think that alone probably saved you 1 minute in the early game, but we have our second runner here. GG's, Andy.
GG's.
Yo, GG's.
Zelda was just complaining about the location of the Moon Pearl being at the last location and the hammer being at the last location. If you'd like to repeat his complaints for us.
Dude, I was ecstatic about that Moon Pearl. I feel like I got that pretty early. I guess. I don't even know. Turtle Rock big chest entrance being awkward in the Dark Worlds made me feel better about it. Just because killing those 2 pokies with like 5 hearts and a Master Sword always sucks. And I was like, I'll do this once. If I die, I'm not coming back. And it was the Pearl. I felt really good about the boots too. But I made a snap call to go into Ice Palace instead of go to Sahasrara after Skull Woods post pod. Just because there was no good way to get back to Sahasrara. And
I think I did the same.
Didn't feel good.
I
guess at the time, I forgot that one of the desert entrances was next to Link's house, and I was like, okay, well, I have to go to Death Mountain to go into desert, to go out another desert entrance to get to the Death Mountain connector, to get to Dark Death Mountain, to go through a dark cave, to get to Village of Outcasts. I think that was my only way to Village of Outcasts at the time. And so I kind of just didn't want to do that.
And then you found my episode.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, perfect. And then it had hammer, and then the sea was really, really weird. I was kind of I dipped Eastern before the big key, and then found it immediately afterwards. And I was like, this is how this seed's gonna go, I guess.
Yeah, we ZelgaDissan.
Eastern Pass was a complete bait.
I did at least get the big key first. I found it and said, screw this, and then went up one more check and got it.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This isn't early enough Eastern. Let's just do it. And then, like, very next thing I found was Eastern Big. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. I was really hoping it was Pedestal, honestly. I would have felt really good if Ice Rod was on Pedestal. But, I mean, even just, like, I don't know. There's a bunch of decisions that I could have done differently here. Even just, like, not checking entrances and going straight to Thieves Town. This is a closer race than it already was.
It was the one play that made Schultzer question you, Andy, was the save scum mode of the Desert Small Key.
Yeah, that ended up being worse than I wanted it to be.
It could have been perfect if you went out to Desert Palace main first.
Yeah, that would have been ideal. But I went out left, and that was Death Mountain. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to go back there. And so I just, yeah, it was just really awkward. I was really hoping that Desert didn't spit me out somewhere important.
I'll be honest, I kind of expected you to grab that key since it was right by Sank. And when I went into Ice Palace without the hammer and got the Desert big and the Desert small, I was like, okay, there's a 50-50 chance I just lose, because I figured that was probably where the logic was telling me to go. I was like, Andy had that small. It depends what's over there. If I have a chance in this race whatsoever. And then it was all junk.
Yeah, I actually never ended up going back for the Desert big chest either. It was always like on my list of things to do, and then more stuff would pop up that was more important.
And I think it was fortunate for Zelga, given the lack of boots and the lack of silvers, that the ice rod was along the way, and you guys didn't get into full-on ice rod, check every entrance nonsense. So, given the late mirror, the relatively late mitts, you guys had actually a decent number of kind of annoying places to get back to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't have a ton of caves I cared about. I was missing Mire, Blind's Hut, and Mini Moldorm Cave. That was pretty much it. So
that's only like 18 items. What are the odds?
But, I mean, they're super important. I would have been scouring the world for those. So, and I would have had to get those boots, it sounds like, from Pod to get Mire. So I absolutely would have been screwed 100% if the ice rod wasn't right on those dungeon paths.
Yeah, after doing like crystal cleanup post GT, I guess, I opted to like turn in the mushroom and check a couple entrances since the old man save and quit was right there before going into Thieves Town at the end. And then I was like, well, that kind of sucks. But yeah, this was an interesting seed. I felt pretty behind until the boots were in Pod big key chest.
Sculptor agrees with you. So that you were behind until you found the boots in Pod big key chest. So
and then they led to nothing. So
they
led to fun.
They led to the mids to get hammer.
Yeah,
to get a chance to get hammer before Ice Palace.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had checked that before Ice, I feel way better. But
now big race is coming up for Andy, and Sega is out in the brackets. GG's to you.
Thanks. I kind of felt like there was no pressure in this. Like, if I lose, I mean, it's Andy. I'm fine losing, and if I win, then sweet, I'm out of the race. So, for once, a race like this, it was kind of low pressure, even for like a late tournament race to me.
Yeah, winning last week was the big pressure race.
Yes. I have no pressure going into Saturday's race.
Yeah, you and Goomba raced for style. So Andy, you get to go into the play-in race. It's roughly 9 spots available out of 15-ish.
Yeah, I think it's 17 if the math works out.
Okay.
I mean, it's look at the list of names of people that are 6-1 and 5-2. Pretty sure you could pull 9 names out of a hat and be correct of who advances to the bracket. So I don't know. It'll be tough for sure.
Just from a race strategy point of view, are you racing differently in a best 9 of 17 race than in a best 1 of 2 race?
That's a tough one, actually. I haven't really thought about it. I don't know, because I don't want to, if you end up racing a little too safe, you end up over clearing, and that loses a ton of time at Crosskeys. So, who knows? It'll be stressful probably, but we'll figure it out. We got like a week and a half, so we got plenty of time to strategize.
I've got some time to think about it. Magic of in-game timers. According to the in-game timer, Andy won this race, but that's not how we race this game.
Probably because I save scum Desert Small Key and played the game for like 5 minutes while I was doing that.
When's the Crosskeys Groundhog tournament?
Oh man!
Oh no! He's down.
All right, Schultz, do you have any further questions for our runners?
No, I think we covered most of it.
All right, then I will get our restreamer in here to say goodnight to y'all. Thank you very much for the interviews and the race, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Thank you for commentating with me. Such a great match. Was a fun one.
Always good to be here.
Was a nice catch up from Andy, till it wasn't.
So we have a new restreamer tonight, and so he's presumably finding the mute button so we can start talking.
Yeah, the mute button actually wasn't the problem. I was trying to make sure that I could hear everything and not hear it twice. And yeah, just required hitting a couple things. But yeah, thanks so much. That was a fantastic race, obviously. And thank you so much to our commentators, Excalibur and Schulzer, for that great commentary on that fantastic race. And thank you to our trackers. Who was that again? Tofile and Iker. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, everything went really smoothly, and I really appreciate you all helping me out for my first restream on ZSR ever. And of course, thanks to Ricky for helping me out. But yeah, there is over on ZSR right now. There is a Majora's Mask Randomizer Season 2 tournament race. I don't know versus Elf. We're going to be rating that in just a minute. But in about an hour, we're going to have a Crosskeys tournament race on this channel, I believe. As long as we've got everything all set for that, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have that side here. So feel free to stop back over on ZSR2 in an hour for that. And for now, I think that's going to do it for us. Have a great rest of your afternoon or evening for everyone. See you there.